Hello and welcome back. Well, as the John Deere clock says, it is about 1:40 a.m. Eastern Standard. We were supposed to get a snowstorm this afternoon. Maybe it'll come tomorrow morning. What is today's December? Well, now it's Friday. It's morning now, so I guess it's today's the 23rd. So it's supposed to be a big snowstorm coming. So we thought, maybe we should just put the new sliders in the Spitfire. That's nice and easy. Just pull the rack out easily, and then put the sliders in. That was supposed to be so easy. That was at about 6:30. So I've been out here for a little while. Well, Dad and I got the suspension rack out. The back bolts came out pretty easily. I just loosened the tensioner. Well, you loosen the jam nut. I'll show you on the suspension rack for those of you who don't know. You loosen this jam nut back, and then that gives you the ability to loosen this adjuster bolt that holds your idler pulley bar here as far back as it is for the tension of the track. So the back bolts came out okay, so that was good. The front bolts, not so much. This is what's left of one of the front bolts. Heated it, covered it with Gibbs. That stuff's great. Funny thing is, we've been buying this stuff before Project Farm recommended it. So maybe we were even smarter than Project Farm. Not likely, he's smarter than us. He's got a YouTube channel that's actually successful. So, this stuff is great. But anyways, this piece here is at the front of the snowmobile. As you can see here, this is not what it's supposed to look like. This is a bearing carrier with bearing in it from a walk-behind snowblower. Snowblower, not snowmobile. This isn't supposed to have bearing on it at all. This is just supposed to, this aluminum bar inside is supposed to just be loose so that when you go over a bump, it can let the whole thing turn back and forth. So anyways, as you can see here, Dad had a couple beers, so it wasn't exact drilling. So it got off a little bit, and part of a drill bit is stuck in there. But the other side is drilled perfectly. Like he drilled it perfectly and tapped it perfectly, and that worked really well. But this side not so much. Thus is why we ground down the shaft here, this bar, and I said, well, what can we use to still mount it? Because I thought we still want to get this stupid thing on the snowmobile tonight. And I thought, what could we use? And Dad said, well, why don't we get some piece of pipe and make something up? I said, wait a minute. I've got 2 old snowblowers in the barn. I know I've got parts on those things. And lo and behold, this bearing carrier was lying in the ground underneath the 400. I dragged the 400 into the barn. This was lying under the 400. I just drug it off. Because I thought the bearing was under there, but I didn't know the carrier was there too. So I was like, perfect. I look crazy running across the front yard at 1 a.m. So slap that on there, and that'll give us just that little up and down for when we go over bumps. Not going to move too much. And then this shaft, these were seized right on there. Got them all greased up. Had to actually pull this shaft right out. Used the air chisel, and then we ended up putting just we put the brass. I'll just show you. We've got this brass. It's an old, I don't know if it was a bolt or what. I guess it was a bolt. So Grandpa just had this in the toolbox made of brass and just put that on there so we didn't wreck the shaft or the bar, and pounded that bar out with the air chisel and then just the sledgehammer. So that one came out. That one seized right in. That one's not coming out. It's in there. We tried everything on that bugger. That's not coming out unless we had like a press. But even a press, you might just bend this if you pressed it too hard. It's really in there. So this one we got out and put it on the bench grinder and just ground down some of it and got it so it'll fit in there with grease and it'll move back and forth here. I don't know. Put a bolt in there. But it go up and down. It wouldn't do that before. It wouldn't move at all. So now that it moves back and forth, that's real good. That's a bonus. These idler pulleys, idler wheels, they're supposed to spin freely like that. When we took this thing off, the one was so stuck up, wouldn't move. Here, there's the flat spot in it. You see the flat spot right there. This one was so seized up it wouldn't move at all. And it was just dragging, so it made that flat spot. So now it spins rather well. We just used a little bit of graphite in a can. A little bit of that. A little bit of Gibbs. Spritz of the graphite. Spun it, and then just 10W30. And now it, like brand new. And there isn't a whole lot of play in the bearing. It's loose because of there. But it feels like it's still pretty good. It'll last us for however long the snowmobile lasts. Oh, so the new sliders. Here's a piece of the old slider. Fairly worn down. As you can see there, it's worn down. The new piece is like that. So there's some significant wear there. Side by side view there. There's some significant wear. So I'm glad I replaced those. Quite beaten up. Quite beaten up. These pieces, they only sell one style for John Deere snowmobiles with slider suspension. So these ones are 1/4 inch. The thing says it somewhere on there. I don't know where it is. Anyways, oh, it's on this piece here. Bought these at mfgsupply.com. 47 1/4 long, maybe, I don't know. But this one didn't need those bolt holes, so we just slid them on. What we did was we put the brass punch there and just tapped it off with the hammer. Tap, tap, just tap it off. Just tap it off, as Billy Madison would say. And then to get it back on, I cleaned it up with a wire brush a little bit, these rails, and then a little bit of oil, and then just tapped it back on with the hammer. And then we so these little plastic pieces that hold them on, not that they need to be held on, they come off with the one bolt there, and it wouldn't fit on. So we had to tap it back up this way, hack it off with a hacksaw, tap it back up, so it's just meeting there with this piece. So it doesn't go inside this piece. This just meets with the plastic on the top and the bottom there. So these new sliders are going to make a significant change and help the snowmobile to spin the track a lot freely. Now that the suspension is moving, like this was seized up, now it has that on there. This was all seized up, so it's moving a lot better now. And so this is the track. Put this light on. Oh, it's unplugged. So this track is in pretty decent shape for it's a 82 model built in 81. This thing, I want to say it might have had a bit of abuse, but not terribly, because some parts of it are in really great shape, like this track, which I doubt was replaced. This is probably, I almost guarantee it's an original track. Unless someone replaced it in the 80s, I really think this is an original track. So, so cleats were rubbing up here because the suspension it was all stuck. So hopefully fixing that suspension will prevent the cleats from rubbing whenever you go over a bump. So there's the hole for that bolt. There's the hole for that one. Around here, there's the bolt for that. And now that there's a bearing on this side, I drilled 2 new holes there. They're 3 inches exactly, so 1.5 inches from the center. So that'll be good. And this should just show this off. This old drill. It's got duct tape on the trigger. This thing, it's only one direction. Oh, it's unplugged. But this drill, I can't believe how well this thing works. It's I don't know. Dad said that Grandpa's had it for a while, but it's a good drill. It you can only use it for boring holes, but I don't even know where the cordless drill is right now. But this thing is always under the bench, so when you're in the shop, it's pretty handy to have that there. What else is there? Oh, the last guy that tinkered with this thing totally bypassed the ignition switch, so it's constantly on, and the kill switch is the only thing to turn it on and off. So that's interesting. I must have had problems with this. He's got under there and hacked at the wiring. I don't know who did that, because the guy I bought them off of, he bought this from somebody else, so I don't know. But yeah, the kill switch still works up here, which is good. The headlight I have not got working yet. I'll do that next, I think. The recoil, it's got that silly thing to prevent the rope from rubbing. This little thing. I had a tack weld, but broke free, so I wired it in place. It works. But the recoil, it doesn't recoil all the way. So, like when I pull it out all the way, it doesn't recoil very well. So I'm going to take that recoil apart. I bought a new spring for it. New recoil spring. It could be the similar thing as the 400, where the spring was just rusty and old. So I'll replace it with this, oil it all up. Dad went to the States and got, I think he went to, not Parts Store, AutoZone, and got new flex hoses and new brake calipers, mounting brackets for the GMC Sierra 1500, and they're remanufactured in Mexico, so they're good calipers. And so the guy gave my dad a deal. I think he only paid like $5 for this big thing of .3 brake fluid. So it's a big bottle too. What is it? It's almost a liter, quite a bit. And then he gave him another deal. He said, "Well, since you're buying all this stuff, we'll give you this little baggie of it's brake grease and a can of brake parts cleaner." He said, "Yeah, since you bought all this stuff, I'm going to give you this for $1. And I thought, that is a good parts place. I'm going to go back to that place, find that place again. I think it was in Cheektowaga, I think. But, yeah, $1 for that can right there, Princess Auto, that'd be on sale for $5, regularly priced like $6 or $7. So, wow, $1. You got a little bag of grease, too. So that's good. So we'll get those brakes on there soon. And I heard the pads are already, they're in the truck. They got to change the oil in it. And I think that's that for the Sierra. We already did the oil change in the Dodge Ram. This is my box of stuff I got from MFG Supply about a year ago. I got a whole bunch of spark plugs here. They were a really good deal when you buy in bulk. You get a really good deal. So I think they amounted to, like, I don't know, $3 a spark plug. And then I got a new piece of plastic for the tail light lens of the liquefier, I believe. It's got the broken one. And then I got, just to have them, because I know they'll be used again, or used, is these sliders for another John Deere snowmobile. So we have many. Yeah. So, depending on whether it snows or not, right now it's raining and it's about 2 a.m. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll get some snow, go for a ride. If I do, I'll try and take a video and add it to this video. And that's all I'm gonna add in this video for tonight. Thanks for watching. Please check out my Instagram page, Hoovercamaro, and follow my account, and maybe I'll show you something new next time. Thanks for watching.